On the news tonight, federal government receives 3.2 billion naira foreign loot in 14 months. Nigerians express mixed feelings over diaspora voting. Malian army in vigorous attack against terrorist group. Good evening and welcome to the Major Report. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. The federal government has recovered over 3.2 billion naira of stolen monies from various jurisdictions globally from March 2021 to May 2022. It generated a total of 1.82 billion naira from sale and bid form, actual sale of forfeited properties in the first 18 months of the Buhari-led regime. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Balami disclosed this to journalists at the 46th session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communication Team at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. According to him, the recovered foreign loot has since been disbursed into key infrastructure projects, which include the second Niger Bridge, Abuja-Kano Road, and Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The Attorney General noted that Justice Ministry has supported the federal government in various infrastructural funding agreements, lamented that countries is currently grappling with a 329 billion naira funding gap. He also explained that an interministerial committee on the audit and recovery of back years of stamp duty has so far recovered almost 600 million naira. The federal government is set to make a total of 483.73 billion naira in 3 years from electronic payment boom by way of electronic money transfer levy. The projection was made by the Budget Office of the Federation and revealed in its 2023 to 2025 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. The revenue was introduced in the Finance Act 2020, which amended the Stamp Duty Act to tap into the growth of electronic fund transfer in the nation, and it is shared among the three tiers of government. According to the Budget Office in the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the nation intends to make at least 137.03 billion naira in 2023, 157.57 billion naira in 2024, and 189.11 billion naira from electronic money transfer levy. Meanwhile, the World Bank has raised the alarm that Nigeria might be facing an existential threat if it fails to optimize its tax system and focus on other areas to boost its revenue. The senior public sector specialist, domestic resource mobilization at the World Bank, Mr. Rajul Awashi, said this at the virtual pre-summit with the theme Critical Tax Reform for Shared Property organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Mr. Awashi further warned that the continued payment of trillions of naira on fuel subsidy by the government and other attendant economic challenges are responsible for Nigeria's dwindling revenue. He noted that despite the rise in the price of oil in the international market, Nigeria had not reaped the benefits because of the huge amount spent on fuel subsidy. It was regarded that Nigeria's debt stock had risen to 41.6 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2022, with projection that it could peak at 45 trillion naira by the end of the year, and it has been rated the fifth on the list of the World Bank debtors. It was learned that the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Hamid, said recently that government must spend 6.72 trillion naira for subsidy in 2023 or pay more in 2023. She also added that the nation was battling with revenue problems which had compelled the government to keep borrowing. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, says the federal government has secured over 100 convictions on terrorism-related cases within its first 18 months. The AGF disclosed this to journalists at the 46th session of the State House briefings organized by the Presidential Communication Team at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, he explained that convictions have also been secured in 312 criminal cases within that period by the Complex Crime Casework Group, Marital Unit, and the Special Task Force on Electricity Offences across the 13 zonal offices of the ministry. The AGF also explained that the Ministry of Justice has successfully processed over 350 mutual legal assistance and 50 extradition requests, including extradition process against suspended DCP Abba Kyari from the United States of America. People in Osun State have been charged on the need for cooperation with government and health workers so as to achieve at least 70% coverage of COVID-19 vaccination within the next 3 months. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Rafiu Samotu, gave the charge at the flag-off ceremony of COVID-19 vaccination scale 3.0 strategy. Omotayo Adebodun completes the story.
At the flag-off ceremony for COVID-19 vaccination scale 3.0 strategy program organized by the Osun State Primary Health Care Development Board held at the state cold store premises. Speaking at the flag-off, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Rafiu Isamoto, said that since the incidence of COVID-19 virus in 2019, the present administration took all measures proposed by the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Health Care Development Agencies, as well as WHO, to curb the spread of the deadly virus in the state. He called on Osun people and health workers to support the government so that the target can be met and surpassed.
We are integrating the routine immunizations with COVID vaccines as well. Whether we like it or not, I think COVID-19 has come to stay, and the more reason why we must integrate it into the routine vaccination, such that when our people go out to give vaccines to our people, they find out those who have not had this COVID vaccine, and they will give them at that point in time.
In his remarks, the special advisor to the governor on health, pharmacist Olashiji Olamiju, called on all citizens to always come out when there is vaccination, most especially people that haven't been vaccinated against COVID-19 to prevent any infection.
I want to encourage everybody from the nooks and crannies of Osun State, please come out whenever any vaccination, any routine vaccination is announced. They will bring it to your doorstep. Please avail your children or yourself, especially this COVID vaccination.
Speaking with OSBC News, the chairman of Osun State Primary Health Care Development Board, Honorable Leke Ogunshola, appreciated the effort of the governor for his interest in the healthcare sector. However, advised the citizens to avail themselves of the opportunity the state government has provided.
I want to use this opportunity to advise all people in the state to please avail themselves of this wonderful opportunity provided by the governor to now avail themselves to take this vaccine.
In the same vein, the executive secretary of the State Primary Health Development Board, Dr. Adebukola Olujide, stated that the vaccination will be more involved with the communities where they will get more mobilizations, and 80% of the vaccination will be based at the healthcare facilities and 20% at mobile sites.
We are having a special awareness program. The vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination is ongoing. It's not as if we ever had a break, but we're having a special awareness again for the next 3 months.
Representatives of National Primary Health Care Development Agencies, World Health Organization, UNICEF, and SEDANE assured of their unfailing support as partners towards the success of the exercise. The flag-off had in attendance top government officials, critical stakeholders in the health sectors, and directors from the primary health care centers. COVID-19 vaccination was thereafter given to those willing to get theirs. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
Osun State chapter of the APC has raised an alarm over an alleged attempt by certain individuals in Osun State office of the Independent National Electoral Commission office and some elements in the PDP to compromise the content of the election results of Form EC8A and EC8B, as well as Beaver's report, which contain the records of the accredited number of persons to vote in each polling unit. The allegation was contained in a statement issued in Osogbo by the APC chairman in the state, Prince Boyega Modu, and the party, in which he said the attempt to manipulate election results and documents followed the petition filed by APC candidate in this July 16 Osun governorship election, Mr. Adeboyega Oyetola, against the declaration of the PDP candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, as the winner of the election by INEC. According to Prince Famodu, the petition established inconsistencies between the numbers of persons accredited by beavers that are supposed to vote in each polling unit. He called on all lovers of democracy to prevail on INEC and PDP to allow a peaceful determination of the election dispute as submitted to the electoral tribunal in Osogbo, noting that the APC is in possession of the certified true copies of most documents attached to the petition filed before the tribunal. Prince Famodu warned against any attempt to tamper with the document. In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party, in a statement by the chairman, Dr. Akitunde Adekunle in Osogbo, countered the allegation, saying that as the winner in the election, it is illogical to have embarked on attempt to falsify public documents, a publicly available fact. The APDP described the allegation as a diversionary one, pointing out that the report is in public domain, noting that the statement made by the APC is every inch to the contrary. OSBC contracted the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Osun State, which is at the center of the allegation and counter-allegations, to know its position on the matter. Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdulghani Raji dismissed all accusations and counter-accusations, adding that there is nothing for the Commission to defend about them.
There's no allegation before us. So I'm not going to talk about what is not existing.
State has described as untrue the allegation by the leadership of Osun Progressives that Governor Adeboyega Oyetola and the chairman of the party in the state, Prince Boyega Famodu, are responsible for the loss of APC in July 16, 2022 governorship election in the state. A statement by the media aide to the Osun State APC chairman, Kola Olabisi, said the threat of the leaders of top that they will work against the re-election of governor manifested in the result of the election. The release reminded the top members demanding the restructuring of APC that Governor Oyetola has promised to do that immediately after the election. It wondered why the members of top are afraid of sanction from APC if they had not done anything wrong in the first instance. The chairman of top, Honorable Rashak Salishile, had addressed the press conference in Ogbo, where he declared that Governor Oyetola and Prince Famodu were responsible for APC's loss in the July 16, 2022 governorship poll in the state. In the meantime, the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission has scheduled a meeting with all registered political parties for tomorrow. According to a statement by the chairman of the commission, Otumba Segun Oladiton, the sense of the meeting is to rub minds together with the political parties in respect of the forthcoming local government election in the state. The meeting, which is slated to hold at the conference hall of the commission, also along Old Ikiru Road, is expected to have all the political parties adequately represented. OSEC, through the statement, further reaffirms their commitment to conduct a local council election that will be acceptable to all. Nigerians have expressed feelings over the prospect of the country allowing those in diaspora to vote during general election, particularly as former President Olusegun Obasanjo has thrown his weight behind diaspora voting. While some believe the country is ripe for such and can be achieved with the help of technology, others maintain that the new electoral law must be fully tested before returning into such an ambitious exercise. Our reporter Oluchi Amuda now completes the story.
Gradually approaches, the clamor for diaspora voting is also intensified. The latest notable Nigerian to back the call for diaspora voting is former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Chief Obasanjo, who declared his support for the exercise when the Chief Executive Officer of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabire Rewa, paid him a courtesy visit called on the National Assembly to amend the relevant laws that will allow Nigerians who are living outside the shores of the country to be able to participate in choosing those who will govern the country.
All that we needed to do, if it's there's need for constitutional arrangement, simple thing. Just amend the constitution that Nigerians in diaspora will vote through the Nigerian embassy.
Reacting to this development, some respondents, including Dr. Rashid Adebiyi and engineer Bashiru Lawal, stated that it is a good thing for Nigeria to be at par with other developed democracies of the world. They, however, maintain that inasmuch as the country is ripe for it, the exercise must be carried out with caution.
At any point in time, the diaspora of the country are also part of the country. And when you look at statistics of what is being remitted into the country through the diaspora, you will understand that they should be given the opportunity to have a say. But we have to look at the process on the ground. We will not complicate the voting process that we already have. We will not complicate it where we have politicians picking loopholes as to the perfection of the entire process. So if the world is global, therefore Nigeria cannot be exempted. The only thing we're always skeptical of is these Nigerian factors. These Nigerian factors and the ability to believe in each other. Most of the time we doubt ourselves. We say, we have about how many million votes from America? Can it be true? And so on and so forth. Except that, I think Nigeria is right for it.
In his submission, Mr. Said Adekileko said it is imperative for the country to learn how to work before running. He maintained that the new biometric voter accreditation system, as well as other forms of technology introduced by INEC, has now been fully tested in a general election to know how effective and acceptable it will be.
Our electoral process has improved tremendously with the use of technology. A whole lot of these things are just coming in. New laws are just being approved, signed, promulgated to allow a whole lot of these inventions to come into our electoral process. I think for now, we should just see, allow some time to see how well are all these changes, we are able to accommodate them, and how better have we fared in the implementation of these changes.
Will the National Assembly heed to the call of former President Olusegun Obasanjo and amend the Constitution to allow for diaspora voting? Only time will tell. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
The late Venerable Olujide Adepoju has been described as a man whose memories, love for God, and his tremendous service to humanity can never be forgotten. This from the messages of those who spoke at the commendation service for late Venerable Adepoju at the Holy Trinity African Church of Fatedo, Oshobo. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga now reports.
Speaking at the commendation service of late Venerable Olujide Adepoju, the Diocesan Bishop of the African Church Cathedral, Right Reverend Oluwatoyin Bamidele, maintained that the indelible imprint and the impact of the disease in the lives of many can never be forgotten and will always be a lesson to all. Right Reverend Bamidele commended the tremendous effort of the wife of the deceased, the Director of Finance OSBC, Mrs. Olubunmi Adepoju. He urged all to always remember that death is inevitable and it is the end of every mankind. According to one of the children, Dr. Ayodeji Adepoju, who maintained that his late father's teaching to understand the complexity of life so as to know how to manage them will never be forgotten, stressing that the virtue of humility, kindness, respect, and love of their late father will always be their watchword.
He's a man of valor. He's a man that I say he lived a life that was well spent. His life, even in death, he's still speaking. He's a man that has many parts, it takes him nothing, leaving everything he has to the service of God.
The friends and church members of the late, including Elder Richard Adediran, Alhaji Bolaji Yusuf, and Olugbenga Akinleye, among others, also maintained that late Venerable Olujide Adepoju was a good friend, a leader with great mission and vision, whose life is worthy of emulation.
We thank God. We didn't have cause to regret those periods we are together. I have the comfort in God that he has gone to rest.
Very easygoing somebody, doesn't bear malice, don't keep anything in mind. He says that it is, understand, very open guy, very open, easygoing, and he always satisfies people.
The final burial of late Venerable Olujide Adepoju will be coming up tomorrow morning at the Christ Cathedral of the African Church, Isalejebu area, Oshogbo, while the interment follows immediately after the church service in his residence at Ilupeju Estate of Fatedo, Oshogbo. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga reporting for OSBC News.
May the soul of Venerable Olujide Adepoju rest in perfect peace. You're welcome to our sports segment. Confederation of African Football has sent a good luck message to Falconets of Nigeria and Ghana ahead of this year's FIFA Under-20 Women World Cup in Costa Rica. The Falconets and Ghana are Africa's representatives at the 10th edition of the Under-20 Women World Cup tournament. Omatayo Adebodo now completes the story.
Nigeria in international youth women's football competitions, its primary role is the development of players in preparation for the senior women's national team. The team competes in a variety of competitions, including the biennial FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup and the African Under-20 Women's World Cup qualification, which is the top competition for this age group. The team has qualified for every edition of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup and have been runners-up twice, losing to Germany on both occasions in 2010 and 2014. Falconet head coach Chris Danjuma is banking on the special Nigerian spirit to help his side prevail against France at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Danjuma's girls will take on France at the Estiado National San Jose in the early hours on Friday. The Falconets will be up against one of the tournament's favorites, but the gaffer is adamant his team will come out with a win. The Falconets will also face Korea Republic and Canada in the same group. In the meantime, Manchester City have agreed a fee of 13 million euros, approximately 11 million pounds, plus add-ons with Anderlecht for Spain Under-21 defender Sergio Gomez. City were looking at left-sided option after failing to complete a deal for Brighton Marc Cucurella, who joined Chelsea last week for 62.5 million pounds. If not promoted to the first team squad, Gomez could be loaned to City's football group club Girona in Spain. He came through the Barcelona academy before joining Borussia Dortmund. Gomez, who is 21 years, then spent 2 years on loan at Huesca in 2019 before joining Anderlecht, where he played under former City captain Vincent Kompany. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
The Malian Army Unit Tessit has reacted vigorously to a complex and coordinated attack by armed terrorist group. Tafikat Abdulhakim has details of this and more from the following news.
A complex and coordinated attack in Mali's Restif Central region killed 42 soldiers. The country's military government has said, sharply raising the earlier death toll of 17 soldiers. The assault on the town of Tessit in the Gao region was one of the deadliest in recent years for Mali's security forces fighting armed groups in the region. Authorities also said at least 4 civilians were killed in the attack, which stood out for its sophistication. The Malian Army unit of Tessit reacted vigorously to a complex and coordinated attack by armed terrorist groups, presumably from Islamic State and the Greater Sahara, characterized by the use of drones, explosive, car bombs, and artillery. Violence has persisted in Mali for a decade, with the crisis triggered in 2012 when ethnic Tuareg separatists took control of the country's north. That rebellion was hijacked by armed groups which in recent years have taken advantage of a security vacuum in the country's sprawling central region, bordering Burkina Faso and Niger, with ISIL and Al-Qaeda offshoots stoking communal tensions over dwindling resources as they jockey for power. The fighting has killed thousands of people and forced more than 2 million civilians to flee their homes. Meanwhile, Mali's military-led government, which effectively took power in a coup in 2020, is believed to control.
That as the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Good night.